that's reached national headlines this week: the closure of the Gateway Hotel in downtown El Paso. The facility is being sued by the county attorney for a number of code violations and what court documents say was gang activity from Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan criminal group. Now, we spoke with a shelter that took in some of the people off of the street after that closure. Leadership there says they were prepared for the possibility of gang members in their shelter, but that's not all they saw when people entered their doors. KFOX 14 producer Isabella Dillman sat down with the deputy director for the Opportunity Center for the Homeless. She brings us his perspective tonight.
We tried to talk to them at the door, encourage them to come over.
The Opportunity Center for the Homeless says they took in 20 people from the Gateway Hotel, focusing on the elderly residents and families. John Martin is the deputy director of the center, and he says his team was prepared to handle any person that came through.
Well, when you work in our particular area, okay, we see peoples of all walks of life. And yes, we've seen individuals with reported gang affiliations at this point. We've been trained, like I said, through our federal partners as well as some of our other partners, how to recognize concerns, because we've got to be concerned with the safety and the well-being of the whole.
Martin says he takes a recovery-based approach to transition the unhoused into permanent housing.
Each and every one of them has their own story. And one of my biggest things at this point is that you simply don't want to put the entire home-free population into one box.
He says that many of his residents would go to the Gateway Hotel for privacy, and according to him, the narrative of migrants taking over the hotel isn't the whole truth.
The reality of it is, I believe it was more than simply just a migrant population. From what I've seen and what I've read, there were a number of code-related issues that were involved with the hotel. It appears that those issues have been going on for quite some time.
He says code-related issues have shut down hotels in the past.
I've been doing this work for quite some time. There was another issue prior to the fire, which resulted in the De Soto Hotel being vacated.
Martin says his team was there to take people in at the De Soto Hotel back then, and situations like this aren't actually that uncommon. He says that cost-effective options are far and few between, so cheap hotels become just one option for unhoused people.
There were a number of hotels that were taken advantage of that would be located on Dyer, as an example, that would be located off of Paso in that area. There's always going to be the availability.
And his job is to give people the chance to get back on their feet, no matter the circumstances.
All of our frontline staff have a lived experience with homelessness. It's not the most politically correct atmosphere, but the reality of it is they do understand and they speak homelessness, even though the conversation may be a bit blunt and incorrect at the time. But that's our goal, is to be able to work with it.
Now, Martin also said for the city and county's part, they have not directly stepped in to provide extra help after that closure, but they have been in communication with the shelters across El Paso to keep the people who lived there off the streets.